We're going to get started now with painting our refrigerator magnet. First, we're going to use a flat brush like this to paint the background. We're going to go into our winter blue and come down, and we're just going to fill in the whole painting, the whole disc here, with the winter blue. This is called base coating. We're just painting the entire picture, or actually it's a surface. We're going to paint it with the winter blue and cover the whole thing in. Doesn't have to be smooth and perfect. In fact, if it's a little crisscrossed, it just makes the painting have a little better texture. Okay, when you get that all painted in, you can clean your brush. Then we're going to paint clouds next. To do that, we're going to use a flat brush, dip it in water, get it a little wet. Then we're going to put white paint on the corner. And then we're going to come back down and we're going to just do some circular motion about at a 45-degree angle on the corner of our brush, and just let the paint fall off. Then we'll take our chisel edge paint along the bottom to kind of streak it out to make it look like it's in the sky. Let's do 2 clouds over here. If there's too much paint comes off your brush, you can dip it in water, and that acts like an eraser, and it'll take the paint back off. I'm going to add a little bit of more blue to cover up where I took some of the paint off. This kind of establishes your horizon line. The horizon line is where the sky meets the earth, and that's why they call it a horizon line. But it is good in your paintings because it distinguishes where the sky meets the ground. Next, we're going to go in with our flat brush to our Payne's Gray. And we're going to come back down and we're going to make our mountains. Our mountains are, you just touch with a 45-degree angle and pull down. to make a mountain shape. You want probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. You don't want your mountains to be all the same size. You want a dark side. That's what we're putting in here. And then we're going to smooth out the bottom to set those mountains in the ground. Just like that. If you need to add a little bit more dark, if the blue is showing through too much, just put another layer of dark on. Let that dry. To dry your painting, if it's a large painting, we use hair dryers to dry it quickly. If it's on wood or paper, it has a tendency to dry pretty quickly anyway. Or you can just blow on it to get your paint to dry. Next, we're going to go in with some white to put some snow on our painting, on our mountains. And the white is going to be on the side that the light is coming from. Our light is going to be coming from the left, so we're going to add our white to the left side of our painting. There needs to be a dark side and a light side to your mountains, because the snow is going to show better on the side where the light is coming from than on the dark side. We kind of let our snow come down and meet in the valleys. And if you need to add a little bit more, if your paint wasn't quite dry underneath and it's showing through, you can add a little bit more. Right on the top, you might want to add a little bit more. And then just kind of what we call scruffing, just kind of put some of that snow into the valley here. Next, we're going to put in our big tree right here. And to do that, we're going to use first our mountain color, our Payne's Gray. And with the chisel edge, we're going to just add our tree line. And our tree is going to be bigger, and it's going to look bigger than the mountains because it's in the foreground. If you want something to look bigger, it goes in the foreground. Smaller, it'll go in the background. Then we're going to do what's called a rocking motion. And I'll show you how to do that over here on the side. You take your paintbrush on the chisel edge, and we just tap the top of the tree and move it around a little, kind of in a circle motion, and then we start down the tree branch. I guess I should put my tree, the main branch, in there so that you can see that. Then we start walking our paint along that tree branch in a zigzag motion, pressing down as we go, and bigger as it gets to the bottom. Some people just tap on one side or another, or the other. I like to go on both sides to kind of give it a uniform look. That's how you put your branches into your tree, and then we'll add the pine needles in a minute. So we're going to go back over here to our picture, start at the top of our tree, walk along the branches, till we get to the bottom. And you can, if you got a few spots that don't look filled in very good, you can always go back and tap those. Now, if you think your tree is too solid looking, you can go back in with some of your winter blue and add a little bit of spots of blue every now and then to make it look more airy. Then we're going to go back with our dark green, our plantation green. That's this color up here, plantation green. And we're going to come down and we're going to go over our tree with the plantation green to give it another dimension and to show a little more color. To get depth to your painting, you just do layers and layers of different colors. Now, after we've put our plantation green on our tree, we're going to go into our light Hauser green. This is going to be a highlight color. And we're going to add a bit of highlight. That's this color up here, our highlight color. Fill our brush, and then come down and do the same motion and add some of our highlight color to our tree. We're going to let that dry a little bit, and then we're going to come back and add some snow to the tree. Right now it looks like it's kind of floating in the air, so we're going to take some of our dark color and set it in the ground and make a shadow that's coming from the left side of our tree. That sets your tree into the ground, and it'll keep it from looking like it's floating. Now over here on our mountains, it's pretty much dry now, so we can go back with our plantation green on our brush and add some on our chisel edge. Well, we're going to try and clean this brush because it's not giving me a chisel edge. Sometimes if your brushes get old, they lose their chisel edge. You can put them in some really good cleaner and get all the paint out, and that should give you a chisel edge back again. And then sometimes when paints or when brushes get extremely old, sometimes you just have to get rid of them and start over. Get a new brush. I've got tons of brushes. Some work, some don't. Okay, now we're going to go back here to our tree line at the bottom of our mountain. And we're going to add some just by tapping with the chisel edge of our brush. We're going to put a tree line in. You don't want them all the same size. You don't want them all the same height. You just want to, because every mountain has a line where the trees stop growing above it. So we're going to put a bit of our tree line in at the bottom of our mountains. And you can have some straggle trees around. Just always make sure that you set them in the ground and give them something to sit on. Our tree is not quite dry yet, so we're going to let that dry for a minute. Maybe blow on it before we add our snow to our painting. You want straight white for snow. And we're just going to touch the painting in spots to make it look like snow has landed on the branches. Touch up our snow down here, put some at the bottom down here. Touch up a little snow on our mountain. After things dry out, you can add a brighter, the white will show up a little better. That's your picture. You can put this on a piece of wood like we did for a magnet. You could do it on a 3x5 or a 4x6 and make it into, put it in a small frame for a small picture. You could put it on just about anything. And it's a good first painting, and we'll do another one next week. Thank you for your attention. And this is Judy, and we will continue with our next one. God bless, and I hope happy painting.